What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Path of the Network Marketer. It is day 19, episode 19. All right. First of all, welcome to anybody who happens to be a brand new listener. Thanks for checking out this show. And of course, welcome back to all of you who are existing listeners. Thanks for supporting. Now, if you're not already following or subscribed to the show, go ahead and follow and subscribe because we do have a new episode every day that releases at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And often we build topics, right? We build from one episode to the next. Like in today's episode, I'm going to continue our conversation from yesterday. So you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to follow whatever happens to be on the app that you're listening on. And of course, on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. On Facebook, go ahead and follow. Now, in today's episode, I want to continue our discussion from yesterday when we were talking about learning as a crutch, right? I wanted to talk about the mindsets because I want you guys to be aware, right? I think I've mentioned this in the past, but as we grow our awareness, we can then affect more change, right? The things that we're aware of, we can change and control. The things we're unaware of, changes us and controls us. So the more you're aware of the mechanism, the more you can actively, proactively change the mindsets, right? And you know, I've mentioned this in past episodes. In my experience and my opinion, mindset on any venture, especially network marketing, especially entrepreneurship, is 80 to 90% of the game. So if you know the mechanisms behind the mindset, then you can take active steps to creating new programmings that can help support where you want to go. The programming that keeps us in learning mode, right, in the getting ready to get ready, is a protective mechanism that I believe. Okay, so first of all, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist. This is just from years of experience and studying personal development, right? And the different programs and lectures and things that I've gone through. But like the way I see it is it's a protective mechanism that keeps us safe, right? There's a really basic mechanism and programming in our minds and our unconscious parts of our minds that wants to protect us from change, because change ultimately in prehistoric days meant potential death. It meant potentially getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and so that protective mechanism is still in our minds, and that's what's at play here when we're going into something new. Again, whether that's if you're first time at network marketing, or you're just learning something like online marketing or social media marketing, internet stuff, right? Like any new venture that you're going into, there's part of your brain is going to be resistant to it because, again, change is risky. Risky potentially could mean getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And so what the brain then does is it keeps you in that safe zone. And the safe zone is learning. The learning part is like, okay, let me arm myself with as much information, with as much knowledge, so that number one, it protects me from potential mistakes when I do go into action, when I do put this into application. And number two, it actually just keeps me in the learning, right? I'm taking zero risk by just staying in this learning phase because I'm not actually doing anything that involves any risk at all, right? I'm spending all my time learning and in digesting information, but I'm not actually doing anything. It feels productive because we're learning. We've been taught and conditioned to think that learning is productive, which to a degree it is. But as we talked about in the last episode, it gets to a point where it actually is just a crutch. Right? And so that's the mechanism that's happening. And if you find yourself always leaning on learning something and acquiring more knowledge, understand you don't need to do that. Right? There's not a saber-toothed tiger that's out there that's going to eat your face if you make a mistake in your online funnel, if you make a mistake on a video, if you look funny on a video, or if you post something on Instagram that only gets 50 likes, you're not going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, right? So don't be afraid of those things. Again, I would much rather you guys learn in the doing, learn as you go, instead of spending your entire time learning and not doing anything, because you get nowhere. You get absolutely nowhere. So again, understand that mechanism. It's a protective mechanism that we all have. And as entrepreneurs, especially as network marketers, and especially as you get into kind of the digital age and learning how to use the internet to expand and grow your business. For me, it's completely foreign territory, but I'm happy to dive into it because I know that's where the real learning is. That's where the real growth is. So be willing to dive into that and take those risks because that's where you will grow. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow. Until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.